keys. So there are copies out there.
And who would be on these tapes, most likely, as far as from your conversations in the trick squad?
From just those tapes, I was talking about the copies. That would be Roberts, or excuse me, those would be Pence and his two lovers and the younger ones. They were also, they would do the same thing, illegal surveillance, or sometimes the vice versa. This was mostly in the country, illegal surveillance with Robert's children and whomever they were with. They'd set it up. They knew that they weren't going to be exposed because he's Chief Justice Roberts' children. And please keep in mind that these children have been abused since birth and don't want anything else happening. They've already lived through hell. They don't need anything else. But they were, again, loaned out for these different groups, and they did surveil many of them.
Okay. Now, you also have said in past discussions that there was a plot that Roberts was allegedly a part of, where they discussed murdering other judges on the Supreme Court under a Hillary Clinton administration. Could you give me some amplifying details on that?
This is something the FBI had set up under their guidance from the political people. Going to be a false flag. This has gone out 2 years almost before the election. And it was a sovereign citizen group. Obama did not want any terrorism unless it was white terrorism. So this is a sovereign citizen group that the FBI had infiltrated and armed and instigated against other targets. They were, for the most part, pro-America, but they were racist in some of their origins. They were, a lot of them were divorce fathers with a grudge against the court system anyway, and the FBI people had infiltrated and exploited this. They moved them up to the level of assassinating federal judges, political people, things like that. You want the names? I can tell you. So anyway, part of their plot was various types of attacks on the Supreme Court to take out as many judges as they could. Roberts was aware of this. He actually provided some scheduling. So apparently the justices are not all there at one time. They come and go as they please. And these three would be working on something, these three. And he provided this to the group so they could finalize their plans. They were very, very close in what they were trying to do. They were given explosives, all types of automatic weapons. They had rocket launchers. And they were very close to it. They were going to assassinate Epstein sailors, a federal judge in Massachusetts, Martha Coakley, Lisa Monaco and her family. They were going to make that look like a home invasion and film it until later when they needed it. And this was their initial attack plan, and then this
Epstein and Supreme Court Justice Roberts initially would have met, or how that relationship would have developed?
How they would have met. I think he met when he was under Bush, not too long after he was appointed, somewhere along there, just a basic meeting powerful people, something like that. He did help him with his adopted children. From what was said there and what was, discussed openly in this little dirty trick squad, the children are not genetically brother and sister, but they're raised that way, so that's more valuable to them. And one, if not both, were originally from Wales, but they were in the Epstein channels and were easily removed from their version of foster care to Ireland, which has much more open adoption type records. And he facilitated this for Robert so he could adopt them both at the same time. There's a little gap, but it was just paperwork. And that was him. Epstein had done that for him. So they had met, they had worked together, and he was doing favors at some point.
Was this something Supreme Court Justice Roberts would have paid for, or is this a favor exchange to Epstein to link up with these children? Or
I don't know at that point. It's possible it could be either one. I don't think there would be a payment at that point. It's more for his position. There would be something in fact of favor, but I don't know either one that was done. he facilitated it. Was there payment? Was it favor? I can't say.
Okay. Can you go into any more details on Supreme Court Justice Roberts with these children and the circles that he ran in, as far as you're aware?
Children are often used as a commodity, a way to buy yourself into certain inner circles. And these people are all wealthy, they're all powerful, and they don't trust you unless you're as compromised as they are. So you provide children to them, your children, adopted children, whatever. This is how they trust you. You're as dirty as they are. You cannot be exposed because you can't expose them, they can't expose you. If everybody's just as dirty, you know you're safe. And I said this is a way for them to buy their way into these inner circles and get access to whatever. The children are the payment and the dirt and the control.
Now, who else would we want to talk to, or is there any additional documentation that we could pursue to solidify what you're saying here today?
The FBI has copies of the videos from the FISA surveillance. It was discussed, but I can't prove it, that Roberts had a copy. Rod Rosenstein certainly has a copy. Sean Henry of CrowdStrike, who was FBI at the time, he took 2 copies back to FBI with him. So the copies were made, and then it was actually Sean Bridges who encrypted them and gave them the keys.
You guys know what this represents? Maybe it's the comic books. What's the front? Could be the comic book store.
What's from Mr. President?
You'll find out.